What's going on, guys? Alex here with AA Physique and Performance. And today, I just want to talk about my experiences growing up with Pectus Excavatum, what it was like to be born with the condition, what it was like to deal with it, what it was like to get surgery, and everything about it. I was born with Pectus Excavatum, and for those of you that don't know, Pectus Excavatum is when the sternum is caved in. You're born with a deformed sternum. The cartilage surrounding the sternum is deformed and the sternum is indented. This causes a cascade of physiological effects, one of which is cosmetically, of course, it's very odd looking, but number two is it places compression on your internal organs. When I went through puberty, I started out with a symmetrical indentation, and then eventually it rotated right until I had an asymmetric indentation. I remember having very poor aerobic endurance from a very young age. I remember specifically being unable to complete the quarter mile in gym class. I remember having very poor endurance with sports and just feeling this sense of fatigue all the time. And there are social consequences for that. Basically, I got picked on, bullied, etc., because people that aren't good at sports are generally ostracized in grade school. In addition to that, I was extremely underweight, and this seems to be a common theme with people that have pectus for whatever reason. I was very sensitive to eating. Whenever I would eat, I would feel full in 2 seconds, and I would feel nauseous if I would push myself with eating in any capacity. So as a result, I was extremely underweight until probably the middle of high school, when I decided to start making some changes, but more on that later. So I grew up in grade school, didn't really know anything was wrong with me. I thought I was just skinny. People will just tell me, you're just skinny or whatever, which is not true. And my first kind of catalyst happened when I was 14 and I was in gym class, and this kid, kind of put his hand here and said, "Whoa, you have like a dent there." And then he said, "I know this kid that got this surgery and he put bars in his chest." And I was like, "What?" Because I didn't know that this condition even existed. I thought that this is just the way I looked and I was just underweight or something like that. So then I went online, I typed in sunken chest, and then I found out what pectus was. And then I found out about pectus message boards and people talking about the condition and people talking about a lot of the symptoms that they were having starting the condition. And I was like, wow, like this is me. Like here I am. I do martial arts. I was in the boxing club at the time, and I was trying to work on my endurance the best I could, but I could never really improve to get past a peak. And I could do anaerobic endurance, like short bursts, but I'd be very out of breath very easily. And aerobic endurance, forget about it. I couldn't run half a mile to save my life without gasping for air, which is not normal. Anyway, I went to a pulmonologist who allegedly specialized in the condition, and I did cardiorespiratory testing, and there were deficits on it. And he basically said, like, "Oh, it's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you could do it if you want to, but it's not a big deal. You're not that bad," or something. And here's the problem with those tests. When you do a cardiopulmonary test or a cardiorespiratory test, like the stress test, you are compared to people that are 65 years old that don't work out. So whether you're 15 years old like I was at the time, or you're 35 years old, or you're a 25-year-old that works out 2 hours a day, you're compared to 60-year-olds that don't work out at all. So of course you're gonna fall, if you train at all, you're gonna fall within a normal range. However, that doesn't mean that your heart is functioning optimally the way it should be. So there was a peak that I couldn't quite get to. I couldn't quite get into the aerobic zone. And honestly, I did a bunch of physical therapy for it, and I think it helped a little bit. And I started weightlifting and strength training, and I finally learned how to eat and to, force feed, and I compensated by drinking milk and getting liquid calories in order to gain weight. So then I gained a bunch of weight. I was strength training a lot. I got really strong. I entered high school at 110 pounds. By 19 years old, I was upwards of 250 pounds. I competed in T-Nationals in strongman competitions, pulling semi-trucks push press 290 pounds overhead, deadlift 555 pounds, squatted 500 pounds. And these are things I was able to do because they're not endurance-based activities, even though I would throw up after doing the truck pull every time because my endurance was so bad that it would just take me forever to recover afterwards. So even though my endurance was bad, I could get through it. But since it's a maximal strength-oriented activity, I was able to do relatively okay at it. Anyway, let's fast forward. 24 years old. I experienced the worst situation of my entire life. I was just in this horrible, abusive relationship and experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, constant adrenaline. And basically, I went from 230 pounds all the way down to 150 pounds in less than a year. I lost my ability to exercise completely. I would walk up the stairs and experience what's called orthostatic hypotension, where the blood would rush from my head and go into my feet because my blood pressure was too low and I was constantly in this fight or flight state. So I wasn't getting correct circulation and I couldn't exert myself to any capacity. So basically, like, I felt like my life was over. Like, I was never going to work out again. I was never going to be able to walk a mile again. I was basically one step above being bedridden. It was the worst year of my life, hands down. And I was very fortunate to find a doctor that was very open-minded, that tried all kinds of treatment options and stuff, that I would research stuff 12 hours a day and trying to find things that would help me. And what I learned was when you're backed into a corner, you're going to do whatever it takes to get out of it. And that's exactly what I did. And I basically revisited the Pectus situation. I'm like, I have this issue to begin with. This very stressful event gave me post-traumatic stress almost that brought out these physical symptoms from these physical issues that were already there. So my autonomic nervous system was completely out of whack. I couldn't exercise correctly. I couldn't exert myself in any way. I was in fight or flight, anxiety-ridden mode constantly. And I was determined to get out of it. It was not an option for me. It was not an option to continue living that way at all. That was not something I was going to do. And so I decided I got nothing to lose. I'm going to get this surgery now. Like, I want to be a new person. And that's what I did. So I went to the Mayo Clinic. I went to Dr. J, who is the best surgeon in the world. I believe she's the best surgeon in the world for the procedure. It was a very brutal recovery, But I can remember specifically being in that hospital bed at 150 pounds, about to go under to receive anesthesia before the surgery and be like, I'm going to come back from this and I'm going to crush all these people that doubted me, that put me down. I'm going to get back at the universe for putting me in this situation. And that's exactly what I did after that. Woke up from the surgery, felt like hell, felt like I was 100 years old, was moving at the speed of a slug. I just had no energy. I was this constant pain. I couldn't get up off my back if I laid down on the floor. I had to sleep upright in a chair for months. And literally 2 weeks after the procedure, when I got home, I tried to go to the gym. And all I could do was walk around a little bit and just stand there. But I was like happy to be there. And the situation really gave me perspective. And it was a major catalyst in my life that unleashed a cascade of other things that I accomplished after that, because I was like I went through this horrible experience and now this is my second chance, This is the catalyst to change my life, to do whatever the hell I want. And that's exactly what I did. I got my personal training certifications. I started a career. I competed in men's physique a year and a half after the surgery, and I placed in the top 5 out of like 14 people. And I was well on my way. It changed my life completely. Within about a year, 6 to 12 months, I would say, I was able to do aerobic exercise again for the first time. No, not again, but for the first time in my life, I was able to do aerobics. Like, I could never exercise for more than 10 minutes at a lower intensity rate because I would just run out of breath. But now, like, everything changed. And it was so odd to be able to go on a Stairmaster and to not run out of breath, but to just feel like your heart rate comes up a little bit, you're sweating, and you feel your legs working. And you can do it for like an hour straight. It was so bizarre, that sensation that I'd never experienced at only 26 years of age. So that was pretty cool. But now I want to give back, and I want to help people that have gone through this situation as well. Whether it was some other chronic disease or issue that they have or had, or Pectus Excavatum, or anything. But, you know, I'm living proof that you can get through this. I'm living proof that you can accomplish enormous things. Okay, like I'm competing in the Mr. Olympia in less than 7 weeks, the amateur division. I'm going to be the first person in the history of bodybuilding to be born with a genetic deformity, to get surgery, and to be competitive at that level. I've already achieved that. And that's what my goal was from day one, to do something that has never been done before, to inspire people, to throw away their bullshit limitations, to throw away the chains that they put on themselves, the shackles that don't really exist, and to gain perspective and to do what they want to do in life. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to inspire you guys. I'm here to inspire myself, because I want to wake up in 20 years and be like, I did something that I'm proud of. I did something that there is a trail of people along my wake that can say that I inspired them. Like Alex changed my life and he inspired me to do something, whether it was competing in men's physique or some other physical endeavor or just anything in life that they thought that they couldn't do before. And that's why I'm here. That's what I want to do. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. I'm finally confident in making these videos, and there will be a lot more coming. Thanks for watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you the next time.